There's no question that people are seeing drones, and I want to assure the American public that we in the federal government have deployed additional resources, personnel, technology to assist the New Jersey State Police in addressing the drone sightings. And in September of 2023, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, changed the rules so that drones could fly at night. And that may be one of the reasons why now people are seeing more drones than they did before, especially from dawn to dusk. And it is critical, as we all have said for a number of years, that we need from Congress additional authorities to address the drone situation. Our authorities currently are limited, and they are set to expire. We need them extended and expanded.
Oh, okay. Well, that clarified absolutely nothing. So what is going on in New Jersey besides the normal people doing New Jersey things? Are they aliens? Is it Iranians? Is it the CIA? Have we been nuked? What is going on? I doubt any of those things are true, or maybe all of them are true. Ross will set us straight. Joining me now, founder of Fortis Analysis, my friend Ross Kennedy, knows more about supply chains and stuff like that than I will ever know. Okay, Ross, we don't traffic in nutball things on the show. We try to just focus on facts here. As you well know, you always straighten us out. What is going on in New Jersey?
Well, I think you've got, what started as a interesting, unusual, video somewhere of things somebody didn't know how to identify. A book was written in the 1700s, 1800s, Tulip Mania, the madness of crowds, and it talks about the phenomenon of cultural and mass panic, or madness type of events, Ponzi schemes, market runs, things like that. And really all we've done as humans is we haven't really updated our understanding of how the world works, or our ability to rationalize things we don't understand. We've just simply accelerated our ability to share things that induce panic. Almost every one of these videos that's come out shows very clearly FAA regulated marked navigational lights and anti-collision lights. You've got green on one wing, red on another, white on the tail. And so it's very clear that whatever these are, they're not trying to hide. They're operating in pretty clear line of sight, but the shape of them or the orientation of them is confusing to people because they don't really know what we have. They don't know that we have drones that can, take off very quickly, they can hover, some that are rotary style, some that are more conventional, fixed wing types, or that are propeller driven that look more like regular aircraft, some that are hybrid, like the V-22 Osprey, as a Marine, something you might know about, a tilt rotor that can change its orientation in flight. And some of these videos are just garden variety aircraft doing aircraft things, but we live in an age of social media and mass media induced panic. There's a more interesting question of, if they are government drones and not just people spreading crazy things, what are they doing up there? Why are they operating so visibly in a way that, there's just a density of these sightings that are happening that's non-typical? And that's maybe even the more interesting question than just, well, what are they? Well, what are they? They're very clearly, terrestrial based, flying machines, for lack of a better term, but they're not aliens, they're not UAPs or anything like that. The question is not so much the what, it's more the why or the timing.
Dang it. I really wanted them to be aliens. And I don't know how you knew, I am an Osprey fan, although if I remember right, it was a real fuel guzzler, and that was a big problem. Okay, so if it is our government, and forgive me, but I'm assuming it is our government, what isn't already a commercial airliner or whatnot, because there's a lot of confusion out there. If it is our government, doesn't it seem like maybe they're looking for something? Would that make sense, Ross? Maybe they just lost something. It happens. I mean, our government has lost nuclear weapons before. It happens. Do you think they maybe lost something?
Well, I think you've got two scenarios here and a third scenario that's really a combination of the two. The fact that these can fully operate in the dark, because of their hyperspectral cameras, because of very advanced avionics systems, even the ones that are more autonomous in nature versus, fully manned type of platforms like a Predator or a Reaper drone. The fact that they're running lights on, the fact that they're operating over civilian areas where camera phones are very much a thing, and the fact that they're saying nothing indicates that it's really, really could only be one of three things. Number one is that it's a test. Um, Trust us, we're from the government, we're here to help is not really a viable answer. And that's kind of what we're getting from the Mayorkases or the John Kirbys of the world, and it's the reason Trump is leaning into this is you guys are causing panic. Something is going on. You've got to be honest about it, or to some degree. So if we are testing capabilities, you could be testing any number of things. You could have live material that you're training these things, if they're autonomous or semi-autonomous in nature, to be able to detect and follow, to interoperate with each other. But they're also going to have to be responsive in an actual information gathering scenario overseas in support of troops, or in any sort of scenario where they have to be deployed for real. These things will often have the ability to swarm or do leader follower. So you have to train them in a dynamic information environment where people aren't changing their reactions to knowing that these are a certain thing and don't worry about it. Pattern of life is a part of the training set for these types of things and for the operators. How do people respond to the unknown or the unexpected? So you take all that data in and you can build better mission plans around the use of these platforms and where and how they're operated, launched, maintained. Scenario two, besides this is a test, sort of a live fire test, if you will, over the U.S. Population Center, which is kind of irresponsible, but I do get it. The second scenario is there is a rogue thing on the loose. Drones are not just for finding people, which is kind of how most famously we use them, is to find people in vehicles. But a lot of these types of drones that are out there, whether they're fully publicly disclosed or they're kind of hinted at, they do have CBRNE sensors on them. Some of them do. That's your chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and explosives detection. It would make an awful lot of sense that these are drones that are more oriented towards homeland defense that are either being tested, or there is a situation that for obvious reasons of national security cannot be talked about. And the third scenario is something akin to it's a test, but it's an actual real test because there is a real situation, but we're going to call it a test. Again, a thing that has been done numerous times is concealing actual activity behind the veil of testing.
Ross, your hair looks fantastic. I have to tell you. It looks
beautiful.
awesome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother. Look at us. Thank you, my brother. That was extremely helpful as always. I appreciate you. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.